Hello, 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 and welcome to the Rag Company Podcast. I'm Dane Hennen. To my right, Levi Gates.
Hello, everyone. How are you?
Across from me, Anthony Fisher.
Hello, everyone.
And to the left of me, Morgan McMurray.
Hello.
And we are the Rag Company Podcast. And I'm a little bit lower energy today just because my voice was kind of crackling earlier, so I don't want to blow it
Dane,
out,
there's plenty of vitamin C on the table for
I
you
should
that you
partake
should
in the
take
vitamin
and
C
get ready
boost.
for those. So,
Okay,
yeah.
well, why don't you take over for me while
we've
I
got
munch on this delicious vitamin C?
we've got to. I stopped the other day and bought us some vitamin C because we are 2 weeks from the start of our trip, and we always tend to get sick either right before it or right after it.
Or when you're like
Or
me
while we're
and
on
you're
it.
sick during the whole thing.
Yeah.
That's fun as well.
So we figured if we could just start popping vitamin C, the four of us, before we leave,
Or you dislocate your intestines.
or
Yeah.
Dane dislocates his intestines and puts them somewhere
God.
else.
I've been drinking hose water and I've been eating one spoonful of dirt each day.
Perfect. Yeah, that's
I
great.
think it's
Are
starting
you
to work.
Anthony or your dogs?
Well,
Well, like I remember, I used to never get sick,
yeah.
and then
I
like
started
had,
working here.
Well, no, I had kids.
Oh,
I had kids, and they started getting me sick because they bring home all kinds of weird stuff, right? Like
Yeah.
they're touching people and things and garbage, and like Augie's hands are always sticky. I don't know why, but they always get I always get sick because of them.
Mm-hmm.
So then it was like, all right, after 8 years, like my immunity's starting to build up.
I got this.
After 5 years of that, and then the last 3 years here, I was like, I'm doing pretty good. But then we started traveling.
Mm-hmm.
And lo be unto us, the terrors of an airplane.
That's just it. You're just hanging
Like-
out in the recirculated air cabin.
And I think that's all it is. But I don't know what, but all of us get sick. Or one of us gets sick, and by the end of the trip, all of us are sick.
yeah.
So wishing you good luck,
Won't
since you
happen.
don't fly as much as we do.
It won't
This is-
happen to me. I don't get sick.
Yeah.
You say
it
that
is.
now.
It's like the tight quarters and you get sick, and sometimes it's the worst when you are like me, full of life.
Paranoid.
No, or
Yeah,
no,
I was going to say
Sorry.
paranoid.
Paranoid.
Sorry,
Full of life.
in January,
My
right?
dude, you are
going
paranoid.
to Florida, full life, so
Yeah.
happy to be there,
Just
seeing
excited.
my sister, going to Disney World, having the time of our lives, right?
Yeah.
And then a day literally right after that, I got hit with what could have been like the worst bug I've ever gotten hit with.
Yeah,
and
you were pounding NyQuil that night.
yeah. I
But
was
in fairness, you were already contending with an ear infection on the
oh
way
yeah,
over.
I already had
So
that, and
you
it
were-
was.
Compounded.
It was finding a good happy medium between cycling through NyQuil and beers, and I had to figure out where those two meet and how much of each I can have before things get weird.
My favorite thing about that trip was on our flight home when you partook of a fisherman's friend,
Yeah,
because you were like, this sucks, and I gave you one, and you were like,
it's
this
slightly better.
actually works
Slightly
much better.
Yeah,
Maybe because
I think
I'm
we're
sick.
single-handedly responsible for Fisherman's Friend stocks rising. So,
Oh, we are. I don't doubt that.
Yeah.
People have been.
We have zero
purchasing-
connection with them. We just happen to like their stuff.
yeah. It's
Well,
it's
some of
true.
us, not
But
everyone.
I've bought new fisherman friends just for this next trip,
Oh.
Okay, already coming prepared.
so I'll be ready to go just
He
in
knows.
case.
Yeah.
I even got cherry flavored.
Wow.
So-
I think I want to start traveling with one of those. I can't say what I was about to say.
Incubation chambers.
No,
or
one of those masks. I'm going to start wearing.
the hospital, like
Well,
just
I
bring
was
a dust
going,
mask.
I was going
I
to
think he
Or a
was
better-
picturing more one with a zipper on.
No, I'm just talking like a SARS,
Like a GIMP mask?
like a SARS mask. You can't say a GIMP mask on here.
Too late, just did.
Okay, all right, so
that's
fine.
not going to protect him from germs, Dave.
No,
Yeah,
well,
it depends.
it
on
might.
And whose mask was that prior to me wearing it? I don't know. Does leather?
That's why you better buy it new.
Oh, okay.
No.
Anyway.
When well broken
So
in.
you want like
Oh,
a
no.
SARS mask, like a hospital?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
for your nose.
yeah. Like if I were, in any of the Asian countries, that's what I would imagine
No,
myself
but
wearing.
in those countries,
It's common practice.
that is common, and it's respect. So if you are sick,
Yeah.
you wear that so that you don't pass it on to anybody else.
It's just as much for everybody else as it is for
But
them
I
in
think
cases.
deep down, we all look at those people like lepers.
Oh my gosh!
Okay,
What?
sorry,
Wow, you
I'm sorry,
sound like a
okay.
monster right now.
I
What?
think deep down we all see those people and we're like
As they're
and,
sick.
and
Like,
we're
I'm not
like
gonna
we're
go near
like
that.
oh they're
That
sick.
person's
Like,
really
that
sick
guy's
now.
Swine
that's a
flu.
Yeah.
sick person.
That's a real sick person.
I gotta stay away from them, and I'm like I don't want to feel like that. But the way that does change, though, is I've seen people wear, like, Hello Kitty versions of those, and it makes them much more approachable.
Hello Kitty.
Are you kidding me?
Well, okay. So
I saw a Sailor Moon one.
You guys
want
to send us some Hello Kitty dust masks?
In Georgia, where there was that branch there for that Asian
I feel like this ventured into some very questionable territory very quickly.
I did see a lot of those Asian flight attendants wearing, I saw Sailor Moon, Hello Kitty. I saw some really cool.
We'll do a little Amazon search, and we can probably get you some really fun.
I would like
masks.
a Bane one,
I want
so
Peppa Pig.
That changes my voice. A pig?
Peppa Pig.
Peppa Pig.
Okay, yeah, that would be fine as well. Anyway,
why don't we dig ourselves out of this hole?
Okay, let's get into the weekends.
So,
Dane,
what'd you do on this Memorial Day?
See, I know why they want to ask me because I wasn't where they were, and they made a big deal
3-day
about that.
weekend. You don't need to talk about that. Just talk about your weekend. What'd you do?
Had a wonderful low-key weekend. Oh, Friday night. Well, I mean, do I even remember what I did Friday night?
Okay, moving on. Saturday.
Wow.
Dane started drinking again.
Yeah.
No, actually, I hung out with my buddy Brandon. But then on, Saturday, mostly spent the day watching shows and catching up on lots of different shows. Now, the reason I wasn't where you guys were was a matter of...
You don't need to talk about that if you don't want to.
I'm straight up bringing it up.
All right.
Because I was not sure at the time that it was requested that I had my RSVP in.
Yeah.
I was not clear on which weekend my trip would be happening on. I had to make sure it was locked in because it's something we've been planning for 2 years, but we hadn't locked in a date. Oh. So when I was, pressured to RSVP,
hold on.
I wanted to be clear.
Is it contradicting?
No,
it's contradicting.
Hold up.
I've been planning it for 2 years, but I didn't have it locked in on the weekend.
You have to think about how this works. We go back to...
How are you planning a trip for 2 years and you don't have the weekend?
2 years ago, we had a great cabin trip and said, every 2 years we should do this.
Okay.
Thus planned. But we didn't have a locked-in date. We knew where we wanted to go.
Said we should have a trip every 2 years.
Okay, semantics,
right?
please.
I'm just saying.
So what this is Dane every 2 years has a Goonies style trip.
Right.
To where him and his friends. Where was the Goonies filmed?
Rockaway Beach.
No, but that's where I'm going.
All right. Okay. So it's a very Goonies style thing where they go and they all
find some underground caves
and they're kids again.
Yeah.
I'm gonna learn to play D&D with those guys, so that's gonna be weird.
I like this.
I don't know how to play it.
You've gone this long without playing Dungeons and Dragons?
One time, my cousins tried to get me to play, and they told me you can do anything. So I started trying to. Okay, so I do this, and they go, you can't do that. And then it turned into basically an exercise
and I think that's
futility because I felt so screwed up when I was trying to
roll the dice, Dane. Roll for initiative.
But you're told, oh, you can do anything, and then you're like, I do this. I guess, and they're like,
you gotta get good at rolling your dice.
So it's one of those things where it's like, it's supposed to open up the imagination, right? Because you're creating your own thing,
character,
right? And then, but there's nothing more
set.
There's nothing more insulting than you're like, I have created this awesome idea, and you say it with confidence. I'm doing this, and they're like, oh, you can't do that. I'm like, well, I think that is.
I don't know what kind of DMs you guys have ever played with, but they sound like jerks because everyone I played with. You just have to use the rule of the die.
So basically, I brought this up.
If that roll doesn't roll well,
I brought this up with the guys, and they said, "No, don't worry about it. We're gonna all go through this together."
Out the character from when he was 14.
So basically, they're gonna make me a character. I'm gonna roll with it. Basically, it's just combine that with like a drinking game. It'll be fun. But basically, just hanging out, and they're gonna be nice to me and let me figure out how to do this stuff because basically they said the people who are more annoying are the people who know too much about that stuff and end up taking forever because they're so particular about how they do everything that it ends up
I do think that your voice would be a great reader.
I can narrate
I think the narrator. I think
hell out of things,
but I am shocked that you haven't played Dungeons and Dragons before.
I think people would pay you to narrate their
game.
I have friends.
I think you could have been a great dungeon master.
I can read a script. I can certainly read a script, but it just.
I feel like you would be a really great dungeon master, Dane, and that's a compliment.
Dane, I will buy you a cloak, or I will buy you some type of shawl.
Well, I mean, in fairness, my girlfriend Liz, she is obsessed with Critical Role, which is like the most watched, role-playing game show thing. It's basically nerds.
There's a show?
Nerds know what this is.
It's a TV show?
To other people who are not part of like that world, they don't. It's something Geek and Sundry, something like there's a whole world.
There's a channel called Geek and Sundry?
There's like a company called Geek and Sundry, and they had a show called Critical Role, and then they did a Kickstarter.
What is this show on?
It's a web show. It's basically like on a YouTube channel, and they run it, but there are millions of people who watch it. No joke. Like apparently they did a Kickstarter and tried to make like $100,000. They made about $7 million. So these guys are no small.
So
thing.
we need to get you guys out on our Kickstarter. For our
so
new
apparently,
show.
yeah,
Levi, Anthony, and Dane Morgan do D&D.
But yeah, so I mean, you probably didn't see the conversation
Davis
going this
wants
way,
to be in on this though.
But like people
Featuring
think,
Davis
oh,
as
Dane,
the
he's probably
master-
really nerdy,
as
right?
our
Like
new Dungeon Master.
I'm nerdy about cars and stuff, but I don't know the first thing. About
Dane's
this
like,
stuff.
I pull out a
like,
94 SVX.
I like playing like Skyrim and Oblivion sometimes, or like Red Dead Redemption, whatever, like games and stuff. But I'm not a D&D guy.
It's a different,
but I can appreciate
it's a different level of imagination, and you have to. Basically, my thing about getting that deep, because I used to love playing with action figures.
I played tons of D&D.
I played toys, action figures, and I would create my own scenarios and all of this stuff. Right? It was that point where the child in me started realizing, or the grown-up in me was like, "Hey, your imagination, right, used to be this deep. Now it's more shallow, and now you're realizing you have other things going on in life."
Cancer.
Well, there's some people whose whole identity is wrapped up in like one thing you do.
Well, it's like I would have a hard time sitting there doing that, thinking to myself, "Wow, I really need to mow my lawn."
So how
do I do this?
Hold on. So you're saying your imagination got shallower? Meaning you lost your ability to imagine deeply?
Sorry, no. I can. My imagination is still there. It's more or less the matter of like me thinking to myself.
Your brain came up with different ideas, different things came into what's the word, like
more important things,
right, priorities.
So my brain started to prioritize like this. Like that's how I play. That's how I feel when I play video games now. It's hard for me to sit there and get really into something without feeling like I need to be doing something more grown up at this time.
Like
so he's trying to draw away some of the theoretical and go more into the practical.
I really need to be watching
whether it's science, math, whatever. You're like, okay, this is like really heady stuff, but I'm trying to bring it more over to what can I actually apply to my daily life.
Yeah, like I think the only thing that would probably bring me back into that would be having kids, right? Because that would give me a reason to be able to jump back into that and prioritize that. But now it's kind of like, oh wow, I need to go grocery shopping. If I don't do that now,
you're like, oh no, I have bills. Oh no, I have responsibility. You know what? I want to ask Morgan. Morgan, like we're talking about this stuff, but for your generation, is it just kind of like a whatever?
Her generation is all about.
Or is there something that you can really latch on to?
Her generation is about getting that bread.
Getting paid.
I'm asking a serious question.
They're focused on money right now. I think a lot of these kids are focused on money and focused on building their empire of hype clothing.
I think there's a lot of
building their empires of hype clothing.
I think there's a lot of concern for people who are, in that age group, though, because they are concerned. They're like, oh, my future's not looking as bright as the previous generations was.
And especially because a lot of them aren't going to college
So
anymore or doing anything
focusing
like that,
on money isn't necessarily a greed thing. It's almost like a survival thing.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, well, especially with the way the job market changed.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I know some kids her age that jump straight. I mean, I'm talking no college, jump straight into the workforce, but jump straight into the workforce that was hard, right, and very laborious. I know a lot of guys went and worked in the oil fields at her age,
a lot
things
of guys
like that. But the way that it's kind of worked out for them, I know one guy that's 21 just moved, he's in Boise and just bought his first house. Yeah. And I'm like, holy crap, you just bought your first house at 21. And this is like a kid where I'm like, what is this kid doing with his life? He's all about, doing goofing off and things like that. But at the same time, I'm like, well, he has his own house at 21. He wouldn't.
Dane, how old were you when you bought your house?
We know who
it was
you're talking
2011.
about.
So.
What?
We know who you're talking about.
Oh, you do?
Oh, 22.
Okay. It is true, though. He bought his own house.
I know, I saw.
Yeah.
Dane was 22 when he bought his first house.
Yeah, well, you know what I did when I was 22? I bought a Mitsubishi Lancer, and that was my mistake. I should have bought a house after the recession. That's what I should have done. But instead, I bought a car. Yeah.
Though, didn't you have fun with it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been a good time.
I mean, it's all a matter of choices. But at the same time, I do think that there's a lot to be said about, you don't have to go the old school way with school necessarily. Some people take vocational school. Some people just skip that and go straight into some labor-intensive kind of job where maybe your degree or an education isn't necessarily as important as just being able to the grit that comes.
Well, going back to Morgan. Morgan, finish. We
we kind of railroaded it. I just wanted to hear.
What are kids your age focused on?
I think people are very focused on, and Also, a lot of it is because of social media. Everyone feels like they need to impress other people, and everyone is constantly seeing, oh, that person's doing this well. I need to be doing that. I need to be doing that. So there's so much of that pressure added on to just, regular things.
But even with that, I feel like there might be like a degree, maybe a little bit of degree of irony or cynicism that goes with that, where they're like, I know what I'm being presented with by other people's social media isn't necessarily their real life. I know there's gaps in between what they're showing me that are like the mundane stuff.
Yeah.
And they understand that, but they still feel that pressure.
Yeah.
Well, and are they feeling more pressured like with like let's just say like physical things, like they need to buy stuff or trips, or like what's the way of flexing that these people are doing to show that they're being successful or that they're doing well?
All of it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It's just a combination of everything. And then what do you feel like? Do you feel like there's still people that are more focused on, school and more, in other ways to, get further in life? Or is it people that are just trying to do what they can now? Does that make sense? Are they, because, our generation was go to school, do what you need to do, look forward to the future, right? Look forward to your later 20s, things like that.
There's always it gets better.
It gets better, right? That's how I was raised. You were, how was it like for you? Was it more like go to school, do this, and look forward to the future,
Levi's
or is
smirking right now?
Live in the here and now?
No,
he lived a life before his current
remember,
life.
Because Levi was in the 90s doing this stuff versus us.
Yeah, so I had to get a job, but I was like, I led a very different path than my sister. We're only 2 years apart, but like I was forced to get a job at 16 and start working for my own everything. At 18, I had to start paying rent to stay at my dad's house. My sister never had to pay for anything. I was, because let's just say I wasn't a student that I didn't care. I didn't do very well in school. I graduated, but I didn't care enough to do really well. So I never was eligible for anything, scholarships or anything like that.
You were just trying to get past it.
I didn't have money set aside from parents or grandparents for college, and I had to pay for college myself. My dad wasn't going to pay for it. So I did what I could with what I had.
So it was more, you took more of the survival tactic of things, just living, right?
Yeah.
Dane and my generation, like basically took in the fact that, yes, it's survival to a certain degree, but it's always like life's going to get better. Hence why so many people in our age group are in massive amounts of debt from school, from all the college that, they went to, and whether or not it's paid off today, I have no idea.
Right.
But I'm saying now Morgan's generation is younger kids that are feeling pressured, right, by what they see on social media. So a lot of these kids probably are still living at home, may or may not have even moved out, right, and aren't experiencing maybe the same things that we experienced or you experienced, right, survival-wise, but are stacking either money or they're trying to do whatever they can to show that they're having a better life, but at the end of the day, they're still living with their parents.
Right. Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
Is that
Yeah.
It is. Yeah. And it's more acceptable now, too, to live at home for longer. Like,
it is.
But I feel like, especially when you were 18, like, that was a common thing.
They're
like,
kicking them out.
You got the kick or you were going to pay rent. That was the deal.
Yeah.
It was 16 for you, wasn't it?
No, it was 18.
No? 18?
16, I had to, my dad gave me a birthday card on my 16th birthday. He said, happy birthday, you're 16, you're legally able to work, get a job, don't ask me for money again.
Okay, see, that's what I was thinking.
That was when my dad,
16.
that was my card. And then I never borrowed a dime from my dad after that day. And then when I turned 18, he said, happy birthday, you're 18, you still got 3 months of high school left, but guess what? If you want to stay in your bedroom, it's $300 a month now. Otherwise, find a place to live.
It's what we call tough love. I know there's some people out there who are like, that's just life. Like, to deal with it. And it's like, I get that. There's definitely the hard-ass mentality, but then there's also, and that's understandable. Like, I get where that comes from. But I think some people overcorrect, and then you end up with,
Or you have like my siblings who never paid a dime in rent and live there till
I'm not naming names,
30s.
but I've heard some stories, so I know.
So,
but I think
you're right.
there's...
Like, I joke that, like, my stepbrother could have gotten maybe, I could have received a little more of my stepmom and a little less of my dad.
Yeah, I mean,
where my stepbrother could have used a little less of his mom and a little more of my dad.
The devil and the angel on your shoulder.
They could have, like, there was a balance, but we were each, as me being the oldest, him being the youngest, we're at a different scale As
and there's different kinds of pressures put upon the oldest than there are on the youngest, and that's the way it is.
My
for
siblings
a lot of
below are much different.
I mean, usually the oldest is the one who's like the test bed for all the parenting that goes on, and then
so
afterwards they kind of go, oh, we should dial that back.
And it's like myself, I did this thing. My sister did it differently. My other sister was more like me in her actions, and then my stepbrother was more like my other sister. Like they both kind of like two of us were one way and two of us were the other, kind of the way we raised.
And then for better or for worse, sometimes parents just have favorites.
Oh yeah, that's no, and I know that. So but fun fact about that, like I detailed some people's cars this weekend that were friends of mine that I went to high school with. They got together in high school and they got married, have kids. She is now the Ada County commissioner.
Great.
And he is a doctor.
Nice. Yeah.
Sounds like they did just well.
So ipso facto, like part of me goes, this is like so cool. I'm detailing their cars for them and helping them out. And then part of me, and this is just a little taste, but some part of me goes, wow, these are kids I went to high school with.
Yeah. And there's that.
He's a doctor and she's the Ada County commissioner.
In the back of your brain.
And I'm detailing their cars.
And I'm detailing their cars. And I'm cleaning their cars for like it's. And even though I know I'm right at the same level with them and I can keep up a conversation and that's not how they see it.
Right.
Like there's still the personal side of myself that goes, am I still that 17-year-old kid cleaning cars in my parents' driveway?
Sure.
Right? So it also goes back to how we look upon ourselves and what we've all accomplished and achieved and whether or not that achievement is, I look at everything I've done from that time period and going like, yeah, like having this, being here with you guys doing this is more than I could have ever dreamed to be. Going on the events and doing the trips and meeting the people that we've met and the fans, that's awesome. Yeah. Like I got recognized at the Fred Meyers this weekend.
It's kind of fun, right?
Kind of crazy, right? Like to go at one point, I'm cleaning people's cars that I went to high school with that seem to have achieved a higher level of success than I feel I did. Yeah. But at the same time, I'm being asked questions. I'm going through the Fred Meyer checkout and the girl goes, "You look familiar." And I was like, "Oh, okay." And she's like, "I know you from somewhere." And I was like, "Oh, all right."
That's cool.
And I was like, "I'm in here all the time. Like I was in here like 2 weeks ago." And she's like, "No, like really, like I saw you yesterday." Turns out she went to one of the car washes, had them clean her car and detail it. They did a subpar job. So then she went home and started Googling detailing, auto detailing and videos and stumbled upon our channel and was watching all our videos.
Yeah.
Because she wanted to know how to do it properly because she felt they did such a crappy job. She wanted to learn how to do it herself.
Did she know we were based in Boise?
No. But she was like, "No. Oh my gosh, you're Levi from Details with Levi." I said, "What?" She goes, "I watched all your videos last night."
That's so crazy.
She goes, "Because I was trying to figure out how to," and I was like, that's weird.
Because we're not celebrities, guys. We're not.
No, but
we're
then
not,
I look at
like,
it
this
as
big
like
thing. But it is weird to be recognized. Like, well, Morgan fancies herself as a celebrity.
But I look at that and I go, "Holy crap!"
I'm leaving.
This is something totally different.
It's a good conversation for you.
I'm being like, it's a different level of success, right? Yeah. So I guess it's all in the eye of the beholder.
But I love this conversation. Like, this is really this is fascinating stuff because what I find with detailing. Gross. Wow, you're really getting into that hand sanitizer. Okay, any rate. Just the whole conversation is interesting to me because detailing brings in all ages. Like that's what's cool about it is you have older generations. I mean, just to lay it out so everybody understands, you're basically Gen X, right?
Yeah, I am.
And we are millennials, Anthony and I. And then Morgan, you're Gen Z, or some people call them Zoomers now, I guess. That's a thing.
That's weird.
I've heard it.
Zoomers instead of Boomers?
Yeah, exactly. Like the Gen Z Boomers. Yeah. At any rate, but I do think that there's this is just me being hippy-dippy. I think there needs to be more respect for lower-class jobs, that kind of thing. I don't think that's a lower-class thing. I think workers deserve respect, and I have always been a big, big proponent for respect in the service industry because having worked in it for a long time doing retail, doing food service, all that stuff, you develop such an appreciation for that.
Yeah.
And to get to your point about, and I'm the one cleaning their cars, like, I'm the car janitor, kind of thing.
Right.
It's like
it's
the world needs janitors, and the world needs...
No, but it's... And I didn't see but I know exactly what you're talking about. My thing was, it was just that, like, even though I go back to our high school reunion I did last year, and I'm there, and I'm carrying on a conversation with them just about like, oh, congratulations, that you got now the commish. Like, that's so cool. But at the same time, I'm standing there with a friend of mine who also does business development for a microfiber textile company that me and her are talking about how things are, because she spent 5 years in Taiwan working for this manufacturer, and she's with them moving, and
that's cool.
They don't make microfiber towels, if you guys are wondering. They make the microfiber for like Nike. For the shirts, the pants, the
suedes and stuff.
The suedes and the shoes and things. That's what they do. So
that's cool.
And they were talking about her company bringing over construction and building factories in Haiti, right? And how they're moving from Taiwan to Haiti to do all this stuff, but then they built a U.S. base in North Carolina. Like, that's what I'm talking about. And I'm there having that conversation with her. And me and her are talking manufacturing and microfiber and fabrics and the textile industry and all this stuff. And I'm right there at her level at the same time with my friends who are doctors and lawyers and stuff, also standing there going, wow, you guys have fascinating jobs, right? We
all wear a lot of hats.
I wear a hoodie and a baseball cap to work every day, right? And I'm heavily tattooed.
That doesn't affect your job.
That doesn't affect my job at all, But if I was a doctor and I walked in and I was dressed like I dress every day, and I'm like, well, yeah, it looks like you got cancer.
And that's like inherent bias in people. They're going to look at you and be like, oh, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about because of the way he's dressed, because of the way he presents himself to the world. I trust this guy less. And it's like, I get that there's inherent biases that people can't necessarily get rid of, but I'm just super empathetic. Like, I'm always I'm always trying to put myself in someone else's shoes
so here's the
before
thing.
I pass judgment. Now, I'll judge the hell out of somebody I think is like in a position to be judged. Like hipsters, I look at them and I go,
Jeez,
Dane hates hipsters.
There's nothing wrong with them. So what I think though is that,
but they can take it.
The way I see, I've never, and this I think a lot of other people may think like this. I'm not sure, but like you said, when you see somebody in a server position, you're more empathetic towards them, and you're like, oh, I've worked that. I know how crappy it can be, right? When I look at somebody in a server position, regardless of what restaurant they're at, right, I know that they're in that industry, but at the same time, I can see somebody like, for example, if we're going to go to Barbacoa, right, I look at those servers like those guys are making so much freaking money that they're pulling 70, 80K a year, right, working as a server at a restaurant like that, right, and they're pulling tons of money, and I know same thing with people in the bartending industry. Those girls are going out and they're making $400 to $500 a night, right? They're pulling in $1,500 in 3 days, working 15 hours.
Yeah.
So I never look at them at any lesser of them. If anything, I look at them and I look at the positives of every job that I see or witness. I never look at the negatives. Like, so a lot of people are like, oh, that would suck to have to clean up that, or that would suck to have to do that. And for me, I think to myself, like, when I worked at Quiznos, right, as like the, nothing ideal about that. But the way I kind of started thinking about this was when people would come in, they're like, you must get all the free sandwiches you could ever want, right? And I was like,
that's the life.
I'm like I do.
It's perks.
Right? And so
fringe benefits.
I started thinking like that, right? Like, yeah, this may not be the most glamorous job, but I get all the free sandwiches I could ever want. That's pretty cool.
Speaking of fringe benefits, did you guys ever think it was French benefits?
No.
When you were little?
No.
That's fun.
I never understood.
Well,
I was like, oh.
kind of like Bon Appetit is Bon Appetit.
Morgan, for example. So Morgan used to work, doing clothing. She worked at a retail store, right?
Yeah.
How I would
she got first dibs on all that stuff.
That's exactly how I look at it. I look at it as you get first dibs on anything that you get in there, and that's got to be pretty freaking sweet. Yeah. Now for detailers, right?
I was gonna say I take issue with some of that though. This is just me being myself, but I basically look at it and go, yeah, okay, you get a free sandwich, but that's not the same as getting health benefits. That's not the same as getting, a retirement plan. These kinds of things is basically when I look at it, I really want to point out and support workers and stuff. But when you get the case of, like bartenders and stuff like that, they're making bank if they're in a good place at a good location with good timing. They get the right shifts. Yeah, that's not everybody though. And there's definitely ones who take so much crap from people.
Yeah,
so
true.
much.
Yeah.
Whether and it's not just bartenders, it's other people, waiters, wait staff, kitchen workers, cooks, any of that stuff. Those jobs, they don't always pay that great, and they're definitely people. unfortunately, there are definitely those who look down on it and they treat people like crap because of it.
Well, and that's
I get really defensive about that because I get really upset when I see people treating people that way.
My level of respect goes towards the positives, not towards like I understand any job has its negatives. I mean, that's not a thing. I just say look at the bright side. I'm like, yeah, I know this may suck, or may not have health benefits here, but at least you have this going for you. And if they want to further themselves, right? If they know what they have, a lot of people don't know what they have and think they may be in a good position and don't realize that there's more to obtain in life, right? And that's their own thing, whatever it is. But I just think, hey, because I can tell when I've gone to places and people feel, especially when I've ran into old high school friends and they're working jobs, right? I had one friend deliver a pizza to my house, right?
Right.
Didn't know it was my house. Didn't know it was me, and I could tell that he felt like, when
I moved back here from California, I was a Walmart greeter for 4 months.
Yeah. So that
imagine how that felt, seeing your high school friends coming in and they're like, "Oh, I'm a teacher. Oh, I'm this. Oh, I'm that," and like. You want to talk about underpaid and overworked teachers. But in this case, they walk in and they see me and I'm like, "Hi, welcome to Walmart." And I'm like, "Oh, God, just let me like disappear inside myself." It was so uncomfortable.
So when this guy showed up at my door, like you can tell he was kind of like, "Oh, crap." Like I was hoping not to run into anybody I know. I feel embarrassed, whatever it is.
But it will happen.
And
I was
happens. Just like, so I would just kind of talk to him. I was like, "Dude," I'm like, that's freaking sweet. I'm like, "You guys, all the pizza you could ever want, blah, blah, blah." He's like, "Yeah, it's not that great." And I was like, well, but are you working towards something? And he's like, "Oh yeah, I'm going to school right now." I'm like, then why do you feel like you're lesser or whatever? But regardless, though, in the detail industry, right, feeling like you're cleaning a car, I feel that way sometimes when I'm just cleaning. I'm like, I am literally cleaning this person's car, but it's my choice to do that. I'm wanting to do it.
Well, I've been doing it since I was 16.
I'm wanting to do it to make extra money or whatever my plan or my goal is, but. At the same time, though, when me and you walk into a respectable detail shop, our eyes are like, "Wow, this is amazing!" Like this is like I look up to that. Like this is goals. Like this is great. Yeah. Justin Day at Detailers Las Vegas, walking into his shop, I was like, "Holy crap, dude! This is awesome. Yeah, this is freaking sweet." And
he's making it happen.
And you're not. How do I say this? That is available to anybody. Anybody can achieve that if they want to get to that point.
And like,
there's a degree of luck involved on top of the hard work.
And I also look at it like when I opened my shop, that was one of the neatest things. Yeah. Because it was mine. It was my spot. It was my area. It was my space. It was everything I wanted. If I wanted to close the gate and lock the doors for the day and go do something, I could.
Yeah.
In theory. Like, I could walk, like, I could just go, you know what, I'm going to go do this today and leave. Like, if I wanted to. And I had that control. Or if I wanted to stop and grab coffee on my way in and, be a little late or go, you know what, I'm going to go drink my coffee on the river this morning and hang out for a bit and just kind of.
The world's not going to spin off its axis just
I didn't have. Yeah, it was nice, And I'll say this, like, when your parents offered me a job here, like, that was my fear. I was like, I'm going to have to come.
Control.
No, well, yeah, I'm going to lose control. I'm going to have to come work for somebody, even though your parents are the sweetest, nicest people on the planet.
Well, it's like living away from home and then having to move back home. Right. There's that you had a taste of freedom, and then you're like, oh, I can't give that up.
Well, and that's the thing. It's like I literally said that to him. I'm like,
yeah.
So I have my own thing. I can do whatever
we all know
I want.
Levi's pretty bullheaded, so
I am, but. It's the fact that like that was something I had to go. It was like, okay, you're gonna go work for somebody, But spending time with your folks, I have no problem.
I'd rather work for them than almost anybody else.
No, it's like it's kind of like it's like Game of Thrones. Like you follow your king, like or your queen, like not like that.
Nobody died here.
No, but I'm just saying, like in that realm of like, they inspire me. Like so, why wouldn't I? Like, they are a fun couple to work for, and they bring out the best in what we do here and what we want. Like, what?
Well, they're empowering rather than
I want to be right. Like, and that's how I saw it. Yeah, I was like, of course I'd come. Like, yeah, I want to come work for you guys.
Well,
like
the podcast was my idea, and they're like, oh, who's going to listen to that? And it's like, well, let's just try it.
I said who's going to listen to this too.
No, I heard his dad go.
Everybody gave me crap. So I'm like, let's try it, and now we've got a podcast people listen to.
But it's like that. But it was that. Like I look at it and go, like, no, I saw it as not some people look at it and go, oh man, you had your own business, you had your own shop, you had employees, and
then you gave it all
and then you gave it all up to come work for a company. And I saw it as, no, like I had reached the top of my ladder, and all of a sudden this was another ladder that was off to the side that went higher.
The only way to move up in
your
former
I'll jump on that
position was like to open a franchise and have multiple shops. And
but then I'm still at the same level. I just have a bunch of ladders all at the same level.
But then you have so much responsibility riding on you to make sure everybody's doing their stuff.
Yeah.
Whereas you can be in a focused position if you're working for somebody else, and you can really like dial in what you're doing.
Yeah. No, and this allowed me, like I said, there's a ladder to the side, but it went way higher.
Yeah.
So I was like, yeah, okay.
Well, and think of all the people. All of us have gotten to meet. Morgan, you will. You're going to go on trips with us going forward. But just think of all the people you've gotten to meet, all the things you've gotten to do. People are like, oh, I heard about that guy online. And then a week later, you're in Florida talking with him. You're like, I've never actually met you before, but this is amazing. This is so cool to actually have a conversation.
And vice versa. Have people come tell us how much they've experienced and influenced their business, their life, their culture. Like, that makes me, like, that chokes me up and makes me tear up every time I hear that.
To like build yourself up enough that people want to come to us.
To see us.
Here in Boise, Idaho, where, frankly, if you don't live here, you don't know how great it is. And I know I'm saying that now. Anthony's going to yell at me, don't tell people it's nice. And quit moving here.
This is literally the worst town I've ever lived
don't move
in my
here.
life.
God,
Sucks.
yeah.
But all right.
Point is.
Getting back onto our weekend. So, Dane, you need to finish out your weekend.
So I
Friday you got
basically...
drunk. Saturday you spent the day getting drunk.
What? No.
Oh, watching TV. That's right. Sorry.
No. I finished the last season of Veep, which was dark and great.
Wasn't that fun?
that was brutal, and I loved it.
I loved the very end.
Like that was a better ending than Game of Thrones.
That was a great ending.
Don't give it away.
I'm not giving anything
knows
away.
What that show
Veep,
is.
Veep is
so
a great
good.
show.
So
like
good.
brutal.
Oh.
Like some of the best insults in any show. Like the writing in it is phenomenal.
Yeah.
Other show I started watching was Preacher, which is like supernatural on steroids.
Okay.
It's kind of crazy.
I was going to tell you though, if you like Veep, have you watched Thick of It?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I know
the same
Thick of
writer.
It.
Okay,
I know
the
movie
version.
In the Loop too. Yeah.
That's the British version of the show.
And it's the same director who did it. Yeah.
I think it's
Ian
the same
Nucci
director of Friends as well.
No.
Oh, it's not. Okay, different. Must be.
I know people love
show.
Friends, but
Sorry.
not.
Sorry.
Anyway, so Dane, continue.
So that's
Saturday you
watched
Veep. Saturday evening you watched Veep.
Yeah, I finished up Veep and started watching Preacher and watched that.
When Anthony and I texted you back?
That's right. So when I saw that text, I felt so guilty. I was like, oh my God. And I saw my parents in the background like, geez, everybody's there.
Yeah.
And
Stacey
I wasn't.
was there.
So I felt like a jerk.
Thomas,
the problem was
Tim and his wife.
Tim and his wife were there.
Oh my God. I feel like one of those people who like, if you get invited to a wedding after the initial invites go out and then you're like, okay, I'm not, I feel a little awkward. I don't want to, step on toes.
Well,
and I
I'm technically, you haven't received your Evite yet for Anthony's wedding, but I received my invitation for Anthony's wedding.
Well, we all saw the card.
So technically,
saw and heard the card.
Just so you know, technically now, the invite has gone out because all the Evites went out to his family and friends, not his workmates. Except for me.
Dane was actually on that. Dane absolutely received.
Okay, so you already received one.
basically,
So I was just going to use it as a line that now you're in the exact same position for Anthony's wedding as well.
Yeah, except literally this trip I've been planning, it's the only trip I do. I don't take vacations. Everybody knows that.
So anyway, so Saturday you missed.
So I missed that,
big
but
it
looked like fun.
It's a beautiful time.
Basically, to me, I
of love.
I don't know about you guys. I feel like I would be disrespectful to just show up at somebody's wedding after RSVPing no, and just showing up and like, hi, I'm going to cost you an extra plate, kind of thing. Like I don't feel good doing that
situation.
That's not.
Yeah.
That's not in my nature, my character. I don't want to be the person that goes and crashes weddings and stuff.
Understood.
So I don't want to do that.
Understood.
But yeah, so you guys had fun. I saw John Wick 3 with my folks.
The next day.
The next day.
Were you as disappointed as my friends were when they saw it?
I actually liked it better than the second one.
Oh, thank God, because the second one sucked.
Jeez, wow, unpopular hot take here, buddy.
I liked 1 and 2.
Okay,
I didn't see 3
out of all of them,
I still haven't seen 1 though. So apparently
the first
one's the
one
best.
is so good.
Apparently one's the best.
Okay,
first one's great.
John
Second
Wick,
one's great.
I rate him 1, 3, 2.
Okay.
Yeah, two is like okay. No, 3 was probably one of the most brutal movies I've ever seen.
Heard there was motorcycles.
It was insane.
Motorcycles?
Motorcycles and ninjas.
Wow, I gotta see that movie then.
Yeah, no, it's friggin' nuts, and it has just enough humor to keep it going. Like when you're like, oh my God, but yeah, no, it is nonstop, one of the more hardcore like action movies you'll ever see.
I would definitely have Keanu Reeves save me if I was in some type of situation, held captive somewhere. I've seen his training videos, and I think he could kill people in real life.
Like I hold Crank at an extremely high bar for like
Jason Statham would be
satisfaction with an
second,
action movie. Like few movies reach Crank for me, but John Wick 3 was actually like up there with it. Like it was that awesome.
Did you see the Halle Berry training?
Holy crap!
John Wick
she kicked some serious buttons.
Huge fan of that Swordfish movie because you get to see.
Yeah,
never seen Swordfish. Okay, all right.
Literally, like one of the only highlights of the movie.
Yeah.
That and the TVR. TVR was cool.
Fantastic.
That was like the first time I ever saw TVR.
So then Sunday night, or was it then Sunday, you went and saw John Wick 3 with your folks?
So I saw that with my folks and my brother. And the reason we were together is because, and that was Sunday and Monday, was hanging out with my family and my brother. No. I went home.
At your parents' house?
No.
At a slumber party?
No. Hung out because my brother's leaving town for the better part of a year.
Where's he going?
He's going to San Francisco. I can't exactly specify all the details of it because it's one of those things. It's like supposed to be kind of.
Has he ever been to San Francisco before?
Is he taking his wife with him?
He doesn't have a wife.
I have family in San Francisco.
As I understand it, it's kind of supposed to be on the down low. So it's basically he's going, but like they prefer to.
He's taking his children with him.
Okay, he's very tech smart and he's going there. I'll leave it at that.
Okay,
but he's leaving, so we wanted to spend some time with him
just
before
so
he goes.
He doesn't have a wife and kids.
He does not.
There's this area in San Francisco where it's like a kind of an old little military, camp area where they have some cannons up on this, basically looking over one of the bridge. And what's really cool is that there's this whole underground cellar there. I'm pretty sure they have some governmental experiments going on down there.
Oh, maybe that's where he's going.
Have you ever been? Have you ever heard of that place?
Sounds amazing.
I don't know what the name is, but I think that's where he's going.
I think you're right.
He's been watching too much Ant-Man. Any rate,
Godzilla, actually.
Or that. Any rate, yeah, so he's going down there. So we just wanted to spend time with him. And, combine it with Memorial Day. So we had fun. We had carne asada last night.
Ooh, carne asada.
Excellent. And we had our old friend.
That's called the grilled steak in Spanish.
Guac with the carne asada?
Yes. That's friend of the company, Gabe, joined us as well.
Oh. Gabe. I like that.
Love it.
Gabe's awesome. So, Levi,
Morgan,
Morgan.
Yeah, absolutely.
Morgan,
we didn't want to steamroll your whole.
Thanks, guys.
Because ours is kind of intertwined.
Yeah, we just kind of went over it.
Yeah, I did have a John Wick viewing party. I did because I went and saw the third one and I liked it.
You gonna high five it? Is it good enough to high five?
Yeah, it is. Right. It is. And so I was like, well, everyone that I went with, we went with a bunch of friends, and they all had seen 1 and 2.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, I don't even know what that this is. So they were all very into it.
Watching
and
the third one, having seen at least the first one, you would understand some of the stuff that happens in the third one.
So I didn't understand anything, and I kept asking questions.
Oh no, you were that person at the movie.
Like, what are all these? Like, what are these
Who's
coin
that?
things?
Why are they
like,
doing
blah,
that?
blah blah. And so then once we finished the movie and we went home, I was like, okay, well, like I want to watch the other ones now. So we watched 1 and 2. And I was like, okay, like that makes a lot more sense now. But now I'm like, okay, now I want to rewatch 3.
Yeah.
Because now I'm like, okay, well, that didn't make sense. Now I need to see 3.
Without spoiling anything, I just want to say, instead of calling it Parabellum, they really should have called John Wick 3 Revenge of the Dogs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that.
Mm-hmm.
Don't worry, if you were sad about the dog in the first movie, the third movie, that more
no idea. Completely missed the first movie, so I don't know what you're talking about.
You need to see the first movie.
Yeah,
I don't know how you watched the second one without watching the first one. I was
Because
so mad. And now it's tainted it for him because he thinks they're dumb now.
Dane, I was stuck on a plane.
You could have watched anything, but you had to watch that.
It was either that or what was the other movie I could watch? Overboard. Which I had already seen 3 times. So on the plane,
I've never watched it, and I never will. I don't intend to.
So I could have been like Dane and watched.
It's called the first world problem
HGTV
take too many
on
trips.
the plane.
Yeah.
And there's nothing left because we watched it.
Morgan, Saturday, what did you end up doing?
So I went and actually hung out with my grandma because she
wanted to see John Wick 3.
No, she's in town, so I'm trying to spend as much time over at my parents' house with her that I can. So Saturday and Sunday was mostly just like family days, and then obviously sneaking in John Wick once I went back home. And then Monday, I went back to my parents' house again. And my grandma wanted to just do some, Memorial Day shopping. So we went and just looked at like some home decor stores. She loves like Marshalls and like TJ Maxx and things like that. Yep. So we went to those kinds of stores, and then we just had barbecue. We ate outside because it wasn't it wasn't raining, which was nice.
Day. It was like windy, but it was a perfect.
We had a
beautiful,
beautiful sunset last night. A Hercules sunset.
Yeah, that
was amazing looking.
Yeah, and then last night I went to the Meridian Speedway.
Ooh.
It's not the best place to go.
Go to the races.
Bucket of beer, man.
Yep.
$10.
Yep, but it was an activity for the night. So.
Do they still allow smoking in the stands there?
Yeah.
They
there's like a family friendly section where you don't.
It's downwind.
Meridian's like downwind Boise's dirty cousin who still,
The Meridian Speedway just shouldn't exist.
I live in Meridian. There's one bar that doesn't allow smoking, and it's the one place I'll go.
Meridian used to be the dirty cousin of Boise until everybody moved there.
Yeah, now it's a bedroom community, and everybody lives there and then commutes elsewhere.
That's right.
Yeah. It has definitely changed a little bit.
Places
my
like
time
Frontier Club and.
Well, I love the Frontier.
Oh,
Frontier's
it's the same place.
Frontier's the place I go. 127 is like the dirty cousin of the Frontier.
Yeah, it used to be. That's what it was.
I walk from the Frontier over to the 127, and I go, why did I step in here? Now I just smell like smoke. Why did I do that?
Yeah.
Those are old, if you didn't know, those are old race bars from
I know.
Meridian Speedway.
Yeah.
So.
Well, you got the Busted Shovel on the other side. Anyway, a bunch of, inside.
Well, I mean, like, I would say that Meridian is more like King's Landing now, and Boise is more like the city of Marine, possibly.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Clean.
I don't.
It's nice. I like that. I don't
know.
Right.
Sorry, I've been watching a lot of Game of Thrones lately. Anyways, all right. So
where are you at now? Out of curiosity, without saying too much.
I literally just finished season 5 last night.
Oh, good.
I started book 1 this weekend.
Wow.
Audio book 1.
So Levi, do you want to take it from here? Do you want me to
So
sorry, we didn't even see if you were done yet.
That's good. That's all I had. I have to pee now.
Oh. Okay.
Thanks for sharing.
Take a break here for Morgan.
That picked it up on the mic. Okay.
So Friday, I had my friends drop off their car Friday night, so that we could get the car. They could get their car detailed. So I dropped that off Friday night. Got to say hi. Hey, what's up? How's it going? We got to catch up a bit. Saturday, I spent all day Saturday detailing that car. Yeah. I got it done. I just had to do an interior and a quick wash on the outside.
Yeah.
Then we were going to be headed to the wedding. But what was fun was they said, when I called them and said, hey, car's ready to go. I finished it at like 2 o'clock. I said, if you want to come pick it up, just so you know, I texted them at noon, said be ready by 2. I have to leave by 3:30 because we have a wedding to go to. So you can pick it up or pick it up tomorrow or whatever. And they said, we'll come pick it up. Can we trade you? Would you like to do our other vehicle if you have time?
Yeah.
So I asked Carly, hey, do you mind if I do another car this weekend? She said, no, not at all. If you're good to go, go for it. So I basically swapped cars for another one with them and did that, which was great because it was a much bigger vehicle. So I was able to charge a little more.
Yeah. Nice.
And then Saturday night, we piled the kids into the Suburban, and me and Carly and the kids headed out to beautiful Star, Idaho.
Wow, yeah.
To Blessinger Lane.
Yeah.
Blessinger.
Blessinger Lane, yeah.
To a wonderful facility which housed the Shrum Wedding.
Yeah, right next to the Boise River.
Right on the banks of the Boise River. It was a beautiful. Little...
Quaint.
It was really actually a cool place.
Yeah.
There is where Nate Shrum, our beloved graphic designer here at the Rag Company, he married his girlfriend of 2 years, beautiful girlfriend.
Shrumbelievable.
Shrumbelievable. Yes. But it was great. So it was fun to be there because I've known Nate for almost 11 years, 12 years. He's like a little brother to me. And so it was fun being there. And then seeing all our friends from the bike shops were there that we worked with. E-Conger, who was his best man.
So you got to catch up
with the two of them, I've had them at my house on many occasions, and they just make me laugh. So
and that was he had red hair?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So having him and Nate, I've watched the two of them grow up ever since. And so Angel and his wife were there. And Angel was like our boss at the bike shop at the time.
Oh, okay.
But Angel, him and his wife have children the same age as me and my wife, Carly. And so Carly and Celeste are really good friends and still talk like every day. So Carly was super excited that Celeste was there and that she had a friend to talk to at the wedding. And we had a good time. This was also my children's first wedding they'd have ever been to.
Yeah.
So pretty crazy to think about that Hadley at 8 years old will remember moments of Nate's wedding that will foster perhaps an idea of what her wedding would be like as she gets older. So it's kind of neat to think about that. But Nate had corn dogs at the event, which was awesome and fun to do.
Yeah, it was.
That we got to have. We got a low battery here. So, but getting Anthony Fisher there, having some of the members of the rag company, like president, CEO, our vice president, CEO of the rag company, Jeff Hennen, was there. COO of the rag company, John Green, also available.
Yeah.
Webmaster,
Stacy.
What's their last name?
It was Wells. I don't know.
Wells, Stacy Wells.
Okay.
Webmaster.
Yeah.
Extraordinaire. She was there. Thomas Cormilo.
Yeah.
Who's our
with his beautiful family.
New customer affairs specialist. Was there at the wedding. Tim O'Brien, editor.
You just saw him, folks.
Who just walked in. Was also there with his lovely wife.
Yeah.
Yourself, Anthony Fisher.
Thank you.
Media marketing.
I was
just
there.
Just to remind me, he was there.
And then myself, Levi Gates
of the Rag Company,
business development of the Rag Company, global business development, was also there. So
great to
really,
represent.
Really wonderful to have so many Rag Company employees there.
Half the attendance was just family, and then the other half was Ragco employees.
Yeah, basically. And George's Bicycles, Deity Components, all these different bike companies were there as well. Yeah. So, and then all of Mariah's family and stuff and friends. But no, great night. So. You know, the best part of the night was when we were sitting there, Anthony and I. You had a drink.
Yeah,
I had a drink.
Yeah.
Mine was a non-alcoholic beverage, but
mine was definitely alcoholic.
You had some alcohol in yours, but we were eating. I think it was Hershey Kisses and corn dogs.
Yes, yeah.
What a combination!
Yeah, and then we received a text message about a YouTube video that we should watch.
Yeah,
because that's what I do, guys.
Dane Hennen.
I'm always looking for stuff, and I go, "Well, this is relevant."
And
to
we both looked
at
each other and said, "Where's Dane?
Where's Dane? What is he doing?
Why is
he
sending
us then they took a picture of themselves, and I don't think I've felt that guilty in quite so long a time.
Dane feels guilty a lot. So
I feel guilty a lot, but that was more guilty than usual. And you know what the messed up thing is? I'm probably someone who feels guiltier than most people, and not to toot my own horn, but rarely do I do something that's actually wrong or bad.
No, you don't.
I just feel guilty about everything. Like, oh, I hope I didn't, upset, whatever.
Dane will offend people by trying not to offend people.
Yeah.
If like, I don't want to offend you, and you're like, Dane, no, you.
And then the person will be like, "Stop being weird, just take it," or like, just do that thing, or whatever.
No, it was good. So then
it's like, well, F me for trying.
No, but it was good. And then just spent the rest of the weekend, Sunday and Monday, working on that Tahoe.
Yeah.
Trying to get it done. We had kind of cleaned our house. I let Carly go and run some errands. And then with all our trips coming up, I planned a trip for her. To go, I had enough of our frequent flyer miles to fly her round trip to Portland. So I booked her a flight, booked her a hotel, booked her a car.
It's gonna go
for
hang
the week.
Out?
Yeah, the weekend after we get back from New Jersey.
Oh, okay.
So this way, it kind of gives her some time because we're gonna be gone for that week in June. Then we're gonna be gone for like a week in July, and then we'll be gone for a week in August. So. I wanted to give her, a couple days by herself where she could just go hang out with friends over there and, do some things. And so got to do that for her. So she was really excited about that. And then Monday got the kids to bed. My friend picked up their car, all that stuff. Got to check out the really rad sunset, which was awesome.
It was something.
Yeah,
else.
We had some friends come over last night to watch a movie with us. And we watched 40-Year-Old Virgin.
Love that movie.
And because we were flipping through, we were like, we were
it?
sitting on the couch and we were flipping through and we're like, what do you guys want to watch? Like, and they were like, we're cool. Like they showed up in their pajamas. Like, so we're all just hanging out and they were my friend's wife, she goes, I've never seen 40-Year-Old Virgin. And we were all like, wait, what?
Hold on. You're saying you're a 40-year-old virgin?
Yeah. And so we watched it and I forgot how funny.
Oh, no,
that
it's
movie
still freaking hilarious.
Like it's so good.
It's so awkward that I just love it more than anything.
Well, what's funny is watching and going like most
so
of these
great.
People weren't really famous at the time.
Yeah,
this was made, so
like Jonah Hill's in it.
Yeah.
He wants to buy the goldfish boots.
Yeah.
Oh,
like,
can I just buy here? No, it's an eBay store. Like the whole thing. It's like you have to go onto eBay to buy. Can I just?
Yeah. There was a lot of really great things that you forget. Like he had a home phone. He didn't have a cell phone.
Yeah.
Like which is still available like that back then. Yeah. Like so it's just. There was a lot of great. So it was fun.
2004, 2005.
Yeah, it's like 2004. But they But anyway, so did that till about 11 o'clock. Watched the movie, finished it. They went home. We went to bed. Slept like the dead. I woke up like to the point that I didn't know where I was.
Wow.
And I didn't know what day it was. Whoa. But I woke up at 7 a.m.
Deep sleep.
Yeah, weird. I don't get those all that often. Yeah. So to be like that deep, like, am I late for work? Oh, I'm good.
I'm gonna be okay.
Wow. Yeah. So that was my weekend.
Nice.
Cool. What'd you do, Anthony?
So I guess jumping into this. So Friday night, I just did some yard work around the house, mowed the lawn.
Very nice.
Ran out of went to go do some edging, right? And ran out of string.
Yeah.
On the edger.
I didn't know that you ran out of that.
You can. It's not.
Yeah.
Fun.
No. It comes out of the spindle. Yeah.
I figured that out.
And if you put it on wrong, then it ruins everything.
Mm-hmm.
So it was one.
It's really bad.
It was one of those things where I'm sitting there and I'm like ready to go, right? Like I'm already covered in grass. I'm already, I've already been picking weeds and doing all this stuff. I'm like, I just want to get this done. I go to start this thing up. I get 20 seconds worth of use on it, and then I just see, and I'm like,
yep.
I'm like, what was that? What's happening? And I'm like, why is nothing cutting? And I flip it over. I'm like, oh my God, I ran out of the string, right? And then God forbid, this is how it works. You run out of the string, right? Yeah. You run out of that cartridge. They never make that same cartridge.
No, I was gonna say
they never make it again.
Universal. No. You get one and you're like, oh,
even if you get the one for the company,
it's not the same.
It's not the same.
It's for a newer model. It's a different size. It's
like, so I'm like, well, I guess I gotta toss this freaking edger now.
And that's why I had to stop myself from buying a more expensive one. I buy a cheaper one because I knew inevitably I'd have to toss the thing and buy a new one. It's so freaking stupid.
It's a Troy-Bilt 2-stroke, and that thing rips. I mean, I love that thing, but my hands after I'm done using
vibrating.
I'm talking for an hour. All this sit
okay,
there
so yours was gas. Mine was electric.
I have an electric one.
No, mine's gas. Yeah,
I have a little electric, like Hedgehog or Warthog, Black & Decker.
Yeah.
But I have that same issue. So I, for the last year, have been fighting with my spool and dealing with like letting it run for a little bit until it cuts off, and then I gotta reload it, like pull it.
You
a
always
little
have to do it by hand
because even if it's an automatic, and I'm like, God dang, this is the dumbest thing in the world.
It sucks.
Then I took my truck to the dump. Right, I'm cleaning out all this stuff that I had in the bed of the truck.
Mm-hmm.
I come across a spool
in the dump. You took
in my bed.
You took
it was in my truck.
Oh wow!
Right, so I'm like, oh well, I'll take that and reuse. Like that's a brand new spool.
Yeah.
Well, I put that on the other day. For the first time since the day that edger was brand new.
Yeah.
Worked like magic. Never had to stop to pull.
Oh, man.
Just kept going. It was automatic feed and everything.
They're supposed to be like auto feed.
The problem is I came back in and said I will never be able to recreate this when I run out of this.
Well, when you have the full length of it, they rip. I mean, they do work, right? It's when you're working with these nubs and you're sitting there trying. It's a nightmare.
You ever accidentally hit your shim with one while it's running?
Absolutely not. I would.
I
never
have
do
done that.
No,
it is
I've
painful.
had it too long where it cuts a piece and then that piece hits your shin.
Yeah.
And it cuts the crap out of your shin.
My worst is hit the rocks when you flip it sideways and it starts kicking things up. Yeah. Anyways,
I mean, you can put the shield all you want and what you think is the right place, but they're still going to find their way around.
Yeah. So anyway, getting into some detailing stuff because I know people are going to be curious on this. So Saturday morning, I went out and I bought something for detailing, something that I've been eyeing for a while. I just had to pull the trigger, right? And I have to give credit where it's due. And so I want to give a shout out to Dallas, and I want to give a shout out to Apex Detailing for introducing the Kraus and Becker airless sprayer, right?
It's like a paint gun,
for use with rinseless washing.
Airless sprayer.
It's an airless sprayer.
Paint sprayer.
And so, because I can't say, oh, I went out and saw this and I went and bought. No, the reason why I got the idea is because I saw the videos. I saw it in videos, so I have to give credit where it's due.
Yeah.
So for the longest time, right? So I've been playing with my pressure washer, right? As Levi saw from a couple weeks ago when I brought the 4Runner in, I'm having an issue where I'm getting, I'm not having enough time to get around the car before the hard water starts kicking in, at my house. And so basically, it's not on the Civic. On the 4Runner, it was a nightmare. I had some soap stainings because I was playing with some FicTech foaming soap, and I may have let it sit on there for
it's all part of the testing process,
a minute
man.
too long, which I was sitting there, and now I'm like, okay, crap. Now I got soap stains on the 4Runner. Yeah. That's not ideal, but I've been kind of battling that, and it happened again when I was trying to wash the Civic, where I'm noticing this water is drying, and I'm not doing it in direct sunlight. It's just don't know what's happening, and I'm getting really frustrated with that whole situation. So I was thinking I want a better solution for rinseless washing that can provide more pressure, right? Saw some videos of this in action, and it seemed like the perfect solution. So went down to Harbor Freight, picked this thing up. It's a Memorial Day sale, so I got a discount. But what it is, it's a 3,000 PSI airless paint sprayer, right?
Pretty
so
strong.
Comes with a 25-foot hose. It's got a really nice metal handle. I'm talking
it's a paint gun.
Really high quality. Mm-hmm. And then it's got the 2 tubes where you have to prime the machine, then you have to put both of them in the bucket, and then from there you have a 3,000 PSI pressure washer, right?
But it's kind of more mobile.
Keep in mind, it's
You're
very
not plugging
small.
it into a hose.
There's
running out of a bucket.
It's one bucket, one cord for your power. Now the trade-off is it's not going to be your pressure washer type of pressure, right? It's nowhere near that much
pressure. Even though it says 3,000 PSI.
It's 3,000 PSI, very concentrated, and you have to think about how tiny those lines
are. That's
right?
like peak PSI, and then
and it's more atomized than anything else.
And so, correct, right? And so you can adjust the pattern on how you want the spray. What I found is you have 2 different spray patterns on the actual nozzle itself to where you can turn and you can have a fan setting, which is great. Basically, I'd probably say within 6 inches, you have plenty of pressure, right, from the surface you're spraying. About a foot, good pressure. 2 feet, probably...
It's
okay
like
pressure.
It at
then
that point.
About 3 feet, you're pretty much just misting it at that point. However, using for ONR, right, doesn't matter, right? Because you're just ideally trying to get that surface wet. But the second you turn that nozzle, now you have a pinpoint setting to where it shoots out a straight stream. Now that hurts. I was just. I'm like, I'm gonna run my hand in front of it, a foot, 2 feet away, see if this thing hurts.
Why not test it on concrete that's dirty and see if it cleans it first?
Dane, I'm a man, and that's why I'm like, I'm just going straight into this, right? And I did it.
Says
and
the
I
guy
found
who
out,
didn't hit his shin with a weed whacker.
So that does have pressure. So basically, what's kind of cool is in this package deal, now you have the ability to do a fan spray and do a full wash how you normally would, right?
Yeah.
And if you're dealing with mud or dealing with anything like that, you have something. But what's cool about it is, unlike a IK multi-sprayer, which I'm typically using, right? Now I have the ability to really rinse off my wheels.
You have more force behind it.
Wheels can be completely rinsed off. Fender liners, hitting door jambs, hitting things like that. And that spray pattern, even in the fan spray, is so concentrated, right, and so accurate that you're not getting plenty of overspray like you would with a hose, right?
Well, because it's meant to shoot paint, so you got to be fairly accurate.
And that's why, like, I'm sitting there washing with this. I'm like, this is awesome, and this is so perfect for what this is. And outside, I could see how if you're on a windy day, you might have a little bit of some wind flying around.
Yeah, if it's more atomized.
But if you're in your garage, I'm talking, I had little to no water on the ground at all.
So it's accurate enough. You don't have to worry about making it.
It's accurate enough and does exactly what you want it to do in the area you're working on, and without leaving any residue behind. And
so what I'm hearing is winter detailing, using IKs to like foam or ONR or something, and then you can follow up with that.
Yeah, and it's so much more, how do I say this? And knowing that I'm using ONR in a pressure sprayer is so much more relaxed. I could literally spray a whole panel down, go inside, go to the bathroom, start up my barbecue, right?
Come back out.
And not have to worry about any staining, any soap staining, hard water, anything like that. And so I played with that, washed the Civic, had a good time doing that. It was just a learning process, at first, but I got it all down. Really, the only downside of it is that you still have a 25-foot hose that is pressurized. Yeah. So you're pretty much just hoping that hose doesn't fall on the car. You know what I mean? How it always inevitably bundles up and flips on the car.
It finds a way.
So a way to fix that is some detail guards. Anyway, so I did that. A couple hours after that, I went to the Shrum Wedding, beautiful wedding. Got to hang out with Levi, eat some corn dogs. I had 3 corn dogs. I had a couple beers, and I had about 5 cupcakes.
That sounds horrible for the diet.
Diet was not working out.
Which,
super
by the
well.
way, I think we need to stand on the scale.
We can do that here in a couple minutes.
Oh, okay.
And that was kind of the night there. Saturday night, went home. I powered through 5 episodes of Game of Thrones.
Nice.
I'm just trying to get this thing done because now there's so many questions, and it's like I need resolution, and knowing that there is the episodes to watch, I can have it. I just need to make the time. So I did that, and Sunday woke up, and that was super lazy day. Ran a couple errands, went and got dog food, actually drove the Evo because it was just a dead Sunday.
I know. I saw that. I felt like you were trying to prove something. I saw it in your story or something.
It was just,
he's making sure everybody knows. Yes, guys, I drive the Evo.
No, nobody was on the road, so I was just like, everybody's either at church or they're gone for the weekend. So I'm like, this is an open, go enjoy the open roads. Did that. Did some more stuff around the house. Did an interior detail on the Civic. Just cleaned things up. Did a quick wipe down. Vacuumed it out. Threw in some new air fresheners I wanted to try out. The Yankee candles. I've never tried those out. Wanted to see if I like those better than the little trees. So threw those in there, and then on Monday, ended up getting wrapped into going furniture shopping.
Oh,
and
for somebody else or for your own?
No,
home?
for my own home. So we've been wanting to get.
Sounds like you really enjoyed it.
I don't think you're wrapped up into that. I think you're asked.
He'd rather buy car parts than furniture.
understand.
So how do I say this? So I'm wrapped up into it because for me, if I go shopping for furniture, I know what I want, and I'm going straight for it, and I go and get it, right?
You went for an exploratory mission.
This is an exploratory mission, right, to where I don't know what we're going for because Katie knows exactly what she likes,
She's got an
but
idea.
she has to see it, right? She has to see, I have to go experience, whatever
see
this
it. Do you have
is.
a tape measure so we can measure it?
Yeah.
See, I just wander.
No.
I kind of like looking around.
And so our bedroom furniture right now is just a hodgepodge of things we've just both accumulated throughout our 20s, right?
Well,
We've never
welcome
had
to my house.
Part of being an adult is you start getting actual sets.
Never had anything nice, so we wanted to go look at sets. We went to fun fact, we went to Ashley Furniture, right? Turns out they were clearancing. It was a not a closeout. They were liquidating all their lamps. Every lamp in the store was $25.
Wow!
Right?
What?
Wow.
And a lot of these.
You bought some for the garage.
We bought 9 lamps.
Nice.
Whoa.
And all these lamps had a $250 price tag on them. Weirdest lamps you'll ever see. I was like, I'll bring one to work. I'm talking lamps that are glass and all these crazy different designs. And I'm like, these are just fun. And I'm like, what are you going to do with these, Katie? She's like, I think I'm just going to give them away for presents because they're $25 a piece. And they don't like it, whatever.
It'll look more expensive than it was.
Yeah, and so I was
look
like,
what
right
I
on.
got you.
So we did that, and then we went to TRC Willie, and then found a furniture set, and we actually found a king size bed, and we found
going with the king size.
Yeah, the queen's. I'm over the queen. I'm just
you
over
were
it.
sleeping in a queen?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I know.
Sweetie.
I know. Guys, you have to remember I'm about 6'1" and like 220 pounds, and that used to be my bed alone. I was just sleeping in that queen size bed. So now it was just like, now it's too cramped. So
I don't afford myself too many luxuries, but a California king was one of them.
Yeah, I know.
You didn't want to go California king?
No, we
you have enough room for it?
No, we measured it out. Like it wouldn't make sense width wise.
Yeah.
If it was like longer, I don't know. If longer it makes sense, but it just didn't. It didn't really make sense. So we went just the king. But we got, I don't know, some beauty rest, something. It was a clearance thing over at RC Willie. We got that. And then they threw in an adjustable base, which is the kind that can go like, tilt, one that can tilt.
Yeah.
And they threw that in for the cost.
Priming you for when you end up in hospice.
Yeah.
Well, it was the cost. So they were clearancing those out, too. So we got the adjustable base for the same price that it would have been for the box spring.
Oh,
so they're like, do you want to buy a box spring? And I'm like, oh, how much is it? And we're like, oh my God. I'm like, well, how much is the adjustable base? And we're like, so you're telling me we get all these features, a remote control and all of this stuff for the same price? They're like, well, it's a clearance thing. Do you want it? And I said, yes, we're going to take that. So we got new bedroom furniture and we got that all wrapped up into
so is it. Like marble and gold or
no,
is it lodgepole?
So it's just painted wood. It's like a gray, like a rustic looking kind of grayish color. And it looks really cool. And then the bed will be nice. And I think the adjustable base. So we got a bed. I actually have a bed frame now. We never had a bed frame in my life.
Were you a mattress floor?
No.
Box spring and mattress on the floor?
No, it was so your normal base.
It's what I've done for a long time.
And then your box spring
works.
and then your mattress.
Okay.
So just a normal.
No headboard?
Just no headboard. I've never had a headboard.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a grown up thing,
nice.
and I was really happy after it was all done because thinking about how nice the bed's gonna be, and then that adjustable base, so I can be watching Game of Thrones sitting up or whatever. I don't know. Anyways, that was pretty. Oh, and then last night we went and saw Aladdin after everything's said and done.
How was Will Smith?
So it was.
That's the question everybody needs the answer to.
It's a movie for children.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a movie for children. There is some adult moments in there where some people might find it funny, but I fell asleep. I never fall asleep in movies. I had no intentions of wanting to go see that. Katie really wanted to see it.
All right.
And this was after a day of shopping where I said, I'm tired. Oh, other thing. Sorry. I know this podcast is going long. Also went into Michael's, right?
Oh.
So you guys know the OG cart, right? That cart at Target, right?
Yeah.
Michael's has a version that is it's like a 3-tier cart, right? On steroids.
So before that became the OG cart.
Yeah, that was the Master of Shine.
That was the Master of Shine nightstand.
Oh, was it?
When it was the IKEA version.
Yeah.
and it was an MOS nightstand from 2009.
Wow.
Till 2014.
So what you're saying is this idea gets co-opted a lot.
Wow.
It gets co-opted a lot.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
So what this version is basically that on steroids. What this has is a rack built off of it to hang your shop towels, right?
Very nice.
It also has multiple bottle holders and little rods to where you can hang all your brushes from it. Right, so I think it was Michael's is for painting and all of this, but it has all these extra areas plus the shelves inside to hang things on. Oh yeah, absolutely. Okay. And so it was $50, and looks like the same build quality, and I got it in red.
Nice.
And I think so. I don't know if they're still running that sale, but for anybody looking to get something that'll carry all your bottles, brushes, shop towels,
Michael's is a nationwide chain. I'm sure people can
chemicals, and I'm pretty sure that on there you could that steel on there is strong enough to where if you wanted to drill a polisher rack into it, you absolutely could. Because I was thinking about that as well, because that would look pretty sweet. But just want to say, Michael's, get yourself one of those craft carts. It looks a lot nicer than the ones at Target.
Well, and before we wrap up this podcast, we had been talking right before we started this podcast about merch.
Yeah.
And it was kind of a fun conversation because, I mean, it came up because of Anthony.
Anthony created his own line of clothing.
I did.
Something weird like that.
Yeah, it says like All Day Anthony on it or something.
Literally no idea what you're talking about.
Anyway, so one of the fun things we as we all talked about this is Teespring allows the ability for us to create shirts without a minimum.
Correct.
Like, there's no upfront
There's
costs.
no upfront costs. So when we do shirts, we do have them made by a local company here.
We do in the old-fashioned
in Boise,
way.
Idaho, at Deadwood Designs.
Yeah.
But we do a minimum order with them on a design.
Yeah.
And we kind of feel like we have to, to eat that cost. We want to make sure that we're picking the right designs.
Yeah, you can't experiment as much.
So we thought perhaps like utilizing Teespring on our Rag Company YouTube channel would allow us to create different designs kind of as a think tank and for T-shirt designs,
we'll
coffee
see
mugs.
what sells, and that'll tell us whether or not it's a good idea to maybe start producing them here.
The point is regardless if we produce them on there and maybe they sell and people like them, or maybe you guys, by voting, we create 4 or 5 and you guys pick the best ones and we let you guys buy and we see and we make the next T-shirt design. Yeah. Then we would take that design, send it to our actual T-shirt manufacturer, have the shirts made, and we would put them on our website as a afterthought, like whoever wins kind of thing.
Not an afterthought, but
not an afterthought, but in the afterwards, like then it would become a real Rag Company shirt here at the Rag Company.
And this isn't just us grasping it. Oh, we got to do.
I hope that makes sense.
Yeah. Like the big thing is we've already been producing this stuff for a while, thanks to Deadwood Designs and all that stuff. Have shirts and hats and things like that, but there's definitely some advantage to being able to tie it in with our YouTube channel on there where maybe more people are likely to see it. Because if you go to our website, you're under the impression that we sell detailing products and microfiber, of course. But when it comes to shirts and hats and stuff, there's a lot of people who are like, oh, I want to represent that brand. I want to associate with that brand, whatever. And it's like, okay, maybe they don't realize we actually sell TRC swag.
Right.
So the nice part about this is it actually shows up under your videos.
Well, and this allows us to, let's say there's something that the 4 of us like, we can create that, put it on there, see if other people will like that exact same thing. If they do, awesome. We've created a new line. If it doesn't, it's no skin off our back.
Yeah, exactly. And then that way it's a win-win because, the other
zero
thing is
risk.
I know some people may think like Teespring and they may think, oh, they're just going to choose the cheap option.
No, we'll make our shirts like the shirts we're going to have.
We will actually, just like we do with our gear here, we don't pick the cheapest shirts and then just like
we make
slap
shirts
your logo
that people
want to
wear.
The whole point is we want people to actually wear these, actually enjoy them, re-wear them. Like the whole point is that you don't get tired of it after a day of wearing and go, I'm never wearing that again.
Right.
You want to actually have it be a good quality shirt.
Or be your favorite shirt.
Yeah. I mean, hey, that doesn't hurt.
Yeah.
I wear this P&S hoodie a lot because it's actually pretty light and comfortable.
Dane's worn that a lot. You've worn that so much.
I've worn this hoodie so much it's starting to turn gray.
It's faded, yeah. It's
and I've got my whiskey shirt on underneath.
Nice.
Yeah.
So we're into having good designs and stuff, but obviously there has to be a certain level of
commitment.
Reciprocity. People got to actually show that they want it too. Otherwise, it's just money that we spent.
Well, like I did inventory.
Yeah.
This morning on all our shirts and hats and all that stuff. Blue Wash Wednesdays. We have quite a bit.
That's surprising.
The Blue Wash Wednesday shirt doesn't sell as much as everything. Whiskeys, we can't keep them in stock.
Yeah. Well, and that blue shirt, and that blue color is so good looking.
The blue is really a good looking shirt. Every time Anthony wears it, it's one of those where we're like, holy crap,
I love that
why does that not sell more? It's such a fun shirt. So, it's just, I like that shirt, and I'm just surprised that it doesn't sell more.
But as a trade-off, I would do a redesign of the Wash Wednesday shirt where maybe you make like a smaller logo version that's not just a full one, and do that on Teespring and see if people like that better.
Right.
Or try experiment with different things, come up with new designs, logos, and also being able to offer different colors, because like black and white shirts sell a lot because they're popular colors, but they're also cheaper to produce in a lot of cases. Doing other colors and stuff frees you up. Like, hey, maybe there's something that clicks with people. You got to find out.
If you guys like the Air Force One shirts, we can put like 50 logos on there.
Just all NASCAR it up.
I mean, but they are cool shirts, though. I love those shirts. Yeah.
No, so there's options out there. But we figured, if you guys are interested, vote with your wallets. Like if you look at it and you go, I want to support that. And that's the thing. We're not going to charge a bunch of money for these. We're basically going to probably charge whatever is the realistic amount that it would cost us to do them through Teespring. We're not going to,
Yeah, we're not in it to make money. We're in it to utilize it as a test bed.
It's like a poll, essentially, except instead of voting on the poll, you're basically buying a shirt and that's your vote. And then we go, oh, okay, there's people interested in this. And then we take that information and we go and we start making the shirts on our end where we're like legit offering them on the website. And that's basically it.
I think it's a great idea.
So you may see some of that stuff cropping up in the future. I don't know how soon.
We'll let you guys know when it does, and just stay abreast to all of our stuff through Instagram and Facebook. And
we literally just started talking about it today. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for watching. If you're watching here, you're probably on the Rag Company Podcast YouTube channel. If you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button and the bell next to it, because that way you know every time we release an episode. And also, if you weren't aware, I don't know how, but if you weren't aware, we do Q&A Thursdays every week too. So that's on our main channel, the Rag Company YouTube channel. You can go over there, make sure you subscribe, hit the bell there too if you want to know when we release stuff. But every Thursday we do a live Q&A. It's us here, and we talk to you directly.
And
it's
hilarious
great.
And fun and exciting.
You never know what you're going to go. So anyway, guys, thank you so much. And you can always find the audio versions on Shout Engine, Spotify, wherever you find your podcast. We're probably there. Just search the Rag Company Podcast. Anyway, guys, we'll see you next time.